successful events need an audience and community. And audience and community are terms that are often kind of mixed in or interchanged. Build an audience, build a community, and people say they mean the same thing. But when you're talking about building an online presence, you're really talking about two very different things when you're talking about building an online community and building an online audience. So this evening I'm just going to take a look at what the difference is between an online audience and an online community. Why do we need to create a strategy to build both of them? First of all, defining an audience. So an online audience, when you're talking about an online audience, you're talking about an audience that you're possibly just writing content for, and they're engaging by reading that content. They're not necessarily giving their opinion, engaging with it, sharing it. If we're on social media, they're not necessarily liking it, commenting, sharing any of those reactions. It's just a one-way interaction with your brand or your event or your content online. In social media, in your social media insights, you'll see the figures in your reach. So you might be reaching hundreds and thousands of people with your content, but you might be getting, a small number of maybe 100 likes or reactions or comments. In Google Analytics, you'll find your audience in your page views. So you'll have, you may have hundreds of page views, but they've never shared, nobody's ever commented on that piece of content or shared it or interacted in any way. But you do need an audience if you're creating events, creating content. You do need an audience, and you need to work on a strategy to grow your audience. Audiences are great for brand awareness. So for, say, your event, the more people you know about your event, the more likely that you are to reach the people that your event is for, and in turn build your community. Large audiences also establish credibility and expertise, and sometimes it's a vanity figure to say you've got 100,000 followers on a social media channel, because everybody knows you can have 100,000 followers, but how many people are actually seeing your content, loving your content, and interacting with it? You could have 100,000 people following your event page, but how many people are going to your events and regularly showing up and contributing to the conversation around your brand? But an audience will establish that credibility and expertise, and especially in events, if you're looking for sponsorship or you're looking for other brands to join with you and be part of your event, having a large audience and showing them that you're getting large page views and that you've got a lot of followers who are interested in your content will go a long way to getting people like that on board. To support your community efforts, so you can't grow your community unless you're growing your audience. So unless you're reaching new people all the time, and people are talking about your brand, you're not going to build your community. So building your audience is really important for that point. So these are some of the ways that you can build your audience online, and how to build it. So first of all, wherever your content lives, so whether you're an event and you've got an event website, or you're creating content for your brand, your user experience and your site speed is really critical. So from a user experience side, that your website loads quickly, that it's easy to use. If it's an event site, that it's easy to book the event and join the event. If you're trying to engage people in conversation, that it's easy to sign in if you need to sign in, and that it's easy to leave a comment or get involved in a conversation if there's one there. If it's not easy and intuitive, people will just leave. They just won't bother. It also has to be intuitive to use and easy to use on mobile and desktop, and always checking if you make changes to your website that it works equally well, that your buttons aren't too small to press or engage with on mobile, that everything works perfectly. And load times are so important as well, because like everybody says now, if your site doesn't load in less than 3 seconds, less than 5 seconds, people will just go on to the next piece of content, because there's plenty of content out there. We're not looking for content. There's so much out there. Also, Google will favor your site for fast load times. So just making sure that it's just user-friendly and a nice experience. If you're creating written content, and again, I was looking at this from an events point of view, but there's so much content that you can create around your event rather than just the very details of who's coming, when it's on, and how you can book tickets. Interviews with the speakers who are going to be at your event, interviews from speakers who spoke at the last event if there was one, and also knowing what keywords people are searching for to find your event. So say within the community you're trying to reach, whether it's a B2B community or it's a niche product community, that you know what kind of searches that those people are doing on Google, and then making sure that you include those kind of keywords in your content. Videos and visuals are a huge way of persuading people to get involved in your event or get involved in your community. And from an event point of view, again, videos of past events, videos, simple text videos like saying 3 reasons why you should attend, speaker messages, so speakers who are coming just saying, looking forward to being there, and just showing people. So showing rather than just telling people what your event is about, who's it for, and when it's on. And attendee testimonials, so if you have had previous events, or even if you have smaller events before a bigger event, just getting people to talk about why they're looking forward to it, or at the past event, what they loved most about it, and how they'd love to go again. All those kind of things will do more for your event than any amount of content you can write about saying that your event is brilliant, just having that real peer recommendation. And then social media, so creating lots of great video and great content is brilliant, but you've got to distribute it and get it out there. So whether you're using email, for email you have to have your community first, and you've got to have a way of contacting people. So a great way of doing it is through social media, and you can use Facebook, Instagram, etc. To share your content. But again, just having a strategy, so being consistent if you are on any channel, that you're posting there regularly and engaging with people who are on that channel, and that you monitor how your brand is mentioned. So this is just a quick snapshot of brands on social media in 2019. And you can see Facebook is still very much the favoured channel for brands out there, whether they're event brands or content brands. Facebook is seeing a decline in daily users on the site and time spent on the site, but it's still a great way of creating ads and reaching new audiences. And if you are on Facebook, you can easily create ads that will be shown in Messenger and also Instagram. So it is a great ad portal and a way of putting in your target audience and finding them easily. Instagram then is part of the Facebook family. And as I said, you can run ads through Facebook to show also on Instagram. Instagram Stories is a fantastic way as well for selling products and selling tickets for an event and reaching the people that you want to reach. And it's a very engaging platform. Twitter then again is great. It's a great live platform, and it's great for events, sharing hashtags and communities coming together. You also have like Twitter chats, which a lot of brands do, where they have a series of questions and they engage with people and everybody replies. And of course, if your event or content is B2B related, being present on LinkedIn is really important. So defining a community then is, so your brand community would regularly take action and engage with you. Like, share, comment on your news and any of your, anything that you're putting out there. But I think the main thing that defines a community over an audience is three-way interaction. So it's you're talking to your community can talk back to you, and your community can talk amongst each other. And forums are a really great platform for that, in the sense that they are a platform where people regularly talk to each other, not just about a piece of content or about a brand. So yeah, so again, for an event, it would be like organizer to attendee, attendee to organizer, and attendee to attendee. And obviously live events, like here today, it's a great way of interacting with each other, as well as interacting with the hosts of the event, and giving feedback. So why you need to build a community? It's a great resource for you and a resource for your community. So depending on your content and your brand, and what you stand for and the audience that you're building, it's a great way of finding out what are the key areas that concern your community, and you know how do they feel about certain things, and how they want to, I suppose, any more information that they want to find out. Say for event profs, just learning more about the events industry, and you find out what people need to know and what they do know, and you're also creating a place where people can chat and talk about tools that they're using that are really helpful for organising events. It's also very good for identifying trends and challenges, so which is similar in the sense that just finding out what are the problems people have, and then maybe you can solve them, or you know somebody who's had a similar problem, and connecting people like that and making connections. Which is the third one, building meaningful connections. So it's while an audience is very passive and consuming content, in a community it's all about sharing and connecting. So how to build a community. So again, you would be using all of the tools that we use for building an audience, but you go that one step further for a community. And the most important thing with growing your audience and growing your community is knowing who you're talking to. So whatever your product is, your brand or your content, knowing exactly who it's for, and the types of connections that person wants to meet. So are they the type of person who would join a forum? And you'll often see forums do particularly well for tech products. I know from using the Salesforce tool at work, often if I've got a problem, I'll just go straight to their forum and look for the answer rather than ringing support, because it's a great way of finding an answer. So again, just knowing and then a lot of people will just never engage with the forum. It's too fiddly. They have to set up a password or they have to join, and they won't do that. So just knowing who your audience is and how they like to connect and what networks they are on is a huge thing. So it's no point obviously posting lots of content to Facebook if your audience are just not on Facebook or engaging with that type of content on Facebook. Interact and introduce. So again, just being social on social media is one of the best ways of building a community. So replying to comments, asking people questions and listening to their answers. And as I mentioned before, Twitter chats and things like that are really, really good. Show gratitude as well. So if you've got regular active members who are sharing your content, saying thanks, and sharing if they're creating content or if they're in a similar business to you, sharing their content and connecting them with other people. It's just a way of being human and being friendly on social. And rewarding people as well with offline events. So again, your regular followers, giving them discount codes, giving them first dibs on complimentary tickets, and things like that are really good. Hosting special networking opportunities and workshops just for your community as well is another good thing. So social media strategy is not necessarily a community strategy. They're not equal in the sense that you can have a perfectly good functioning social media strategy that doesn't involve any community building. They really are two different things. Community, you're always looking to engage and connect, whereas social media, you can perfectly find social media strategy by just putting out your content and with minimum interaction with your brand. Which is there. It's possible to have two separate strategies for the same network to accomplish different goals. So what I mean there is you can use Facebook for your community strategy and for a social media strategy. And one of the ways would be, say, using Facebook groups. So this is Web Summit. So Web Summit use Facebook groups really well, I think, in the sense that they have a main Facebook website, Web Summit page, which shares their Web Summit content, shows past speakers, and talks about news and updates on the event. And then one of the groups, there's many, but one of them is the Women in Tech group, which is really good for, of course they do put their content in for the Women in Tech initiatives, and when they have workshops and things coming up that people can apply for. But it's also somewhere where the members of the Women in Tech group can share their information. So you'll often get people sharing research that they're doing and looking for feedback or people to take part in the research. You get people asking questions, people looking for jobs, say, in different tech industries and looking for advice and feedback and support on how to apply for certain jobs or succeed in certain areas. And the main thing about Facebook groups, the main difference between Facebook groups and a Facebook page is that within the Facebook group, your members can create content and interact with each other in ways that they'd be just interacting in comments, say, on the Facebook page. So this is a Ted Rubin quote in that network gives you reach, community gives you power. And there is a space where a lot of brands, I think particularly like 2 or 3 years ago, every brand was talking about community and not audience, about building community online and engaging with people and building relationships. And it's not necessarily a good fit with every brand. Like, everybody doesn't want a relationship with, say, Coca-Cola or various different things. It's perfectly fine to just watch the video and maybe not even turn off halfway. But it is something that it's worth thinking about, that network gives you reach, community gives you power. But generally in the events, thank God, in the events arena, you do have that community sense, I think, because live events or online events, you're interacting with each other, you're meeting in real life or you're meeting online, you're engaging, you're sharing content, sharing advice, sharing support, and all those kind of things. That three-way communication is so important, and that's what makes a community so strong. This is just a sneaky thing for checking how engaged a Facebook page is. So anybody who has a Facebook page can go to their Facebook Insights and look at any Facebook page, brand, content, event, or anything. And this is just like a summary of how they performed in the last 7 days. So you get a real sense then of which Facebook pages are really working on building communities, building engagement, and really communicating with their audience, and the ones that are just maybe churning out content and just maybe, possibly just saying, this is us, this is what we do, blah, 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 and maybe not creating that kind of online conversation. So it's in Insights, you go to Overview and Pages, the section called Pages to Watch, and you can put up to 10 pages there. So I suppose with our media group, I work with the Everyone brand, which is kind of there. And we're always we're always the smaller parenting group when you look at social media pages, and that we're just at about the 100K mark now, and some of them are at 600K, 150K. But what we're always really concerned about at every moment is the engagement that we have with our community. So, so for instance here, we are one of the smallest pages, but we have the highest amount of engagement, than any of the other pages. Like, we have 11.7K, and some of them have just maybe 2K, 1K. And it's in no way in correlation to the size of their followers. And again, so I suppose that's again a thing of, are you building audience or are you building community? We would always be community first at what we do. Because we want that, we want conversation, we want engagement, we want to know what people feel and what they think about the topics that concern them most. and then give them support on those things. We also used to have a forum on the website, which was a wonderful place where people could pose questions, and because it was a parenting site, women would join the forum when they were pregnant and maybe couldn't tell anybody yet, so they would join with like a little, with a nickname, and they could go on to, there was birth clubs, so there was a birth club, say for January 2019, February 2019, etc. So they could join your birth club and you could talk to other people who were due at the same time as you and start conversations and, and talk about how they were feeling and how they couldn't tell anybody and all those kind of things, and it was just a wonderful thing. But what we found at Every Mum is that less and less people were using the forum, and they were moving their conversations to Facebook groups. So we did likewise. We moved the Every Mum Facebook groups to, or the Every Mum forum, birth club forums, to Facebook, and they're private groups now where you can join. And that's, I suppose, an important thing as well about Facebook groups is you've got private ones, enclosed ones, and public ones. And obviously, depending on the type, I suppose, the content of your community, you can choose to have it either way. But this isn't the group, this is just the main page. But again, it just shows that that's information you can find anywhere if you are looking to a brand and just wondering how community aware they are. So audience and community building tips again. This is just a quick summary on what we've just gone through. Just again, recognizing that you need both and the difference between both. Whether you're building, you do need to build audience, you do need to reach new people all the time in order to grow your community and enrich the people and I suppose the diversity of your community. Being social on social media is crucial for building community. And also having, I suppose, successful interactions with your audience. While you can just post and talk about yourself all the time, it's very good to share other content and share other people's content and connect and like. Be consistent and collaborate. So if you're just being consistent, posting regularly, engaging regularly, if people contact you with a question or a query or a message, that you get back to them in a reasonable time, rather than just leaving it sitting there. And show gratitude and promote others. So again, thanking people for engaging with you. If it's events, giving people certain rewards for engaging with your content and promoting their content as well. If it's content that's within your niche as well, it's just a really nice way of building community. And that's it. Thanks very much.